Hey, welcome to BODHI. My name is Sesa and this is Casey. She will be joining us for a 30-minute full body flow. Let's get started. We'll just start off laying on our backs. So if you want to lie flat on your back, the arms and legs can take up whatever shape, however much space as you need or whatever feels comfortable. But then just closing your eyes and really just trying to drop in. Feel how from the backs of your heels, along the length of your legs, the heaviness of your glutes, your arms and the back of your skull just laying heavy in the mat. And then begin to watch every inhale and every exhale. And generally, our first focus is how the belly and the ribs expand as you pull the air into your lungs and how they contract as you exhale. So I want you to become very aware of a subtlety with every inhale. See if you can watch your spine grow a little longer from the tailbone out the crown of your head. And then every exhale, there's a softness, a heaviness. And then together, we're going to begin to deepen the breath by first just letting go of a nice long exhale. And then deep inhale through your nose. How long can you make your spine hold that breath at the very top? And then open up the mouth and just audibly let it go. Let's take another long, slow, deep inhale. Fill from the bottom to the top. Hold. This time keeping your lips sealed, slowly exhale out the nose. And then just continue to breathe in and out your nose as slowly and as deeply as you can. Watching every inhale and every exhale just like we've done. Just remembering this breath is really meant to be your focal point. It's going to be your anchor, what continually pulls you back into the body, back into the present moment. So if you're with me, go ahead and begin to wiggle your toes, your finger. You can roll out your ankles, your wrists, stretch your arms up and overhead, point through the toes, take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, go ahead and hug the knees into your chest. And as you hug your knees into the chest, I want you to begin to lift your head, your neck, your shoulders up off the ground, really digging those front ribs in, pulling the lower belly in. If your chin is digging into the chest, kind of look up towards the ceiling. Now keep your heels as close to your butt as you can, squeeze the inner thighs together, and then take both hands and interlace them behind the head. You could even just gently cup the sides of your head if you prefer that. Now on an inhale, you'll go ahead and gently let your toes tap to the mat just behind your bottom. And then exhale, crunch the knees into the chest, maybe even lift the hips up off the ground. Inhale, toes tap, maybe lower the shoulders just an inch. And then exhale, lift the chin towards the ceiling, crunch in. Inhale, toes tap, shoulders slightly lower, exhale, crunch it together. So just continue to do this on your own. If this is enough, great. If you want a little bit more, rather than letting your toes tap, you can extend your legs straight out in front of you, hovering them a comfortable distance. That could be 2 feet, 2 inches, anywhere in between. But the goal is, even if your toes tap or your legs go straight, try to keep the lower back in the mat by pulling the lower belly in. And don't forget to breathe. Every inhale, extension, expansion. Every exhale, use that to contract the abdominals in. Exhale, crunch up and pause. Now you're going to either inhale, toes tap, or extend your legs out. And then exhale, you're going to crunch your right elbow to your left knee, pulling them into the middle. If your toes are tapping, your right toes are still just in the mat. And then inhale, come to center, let the toes tap or extend the leg. Exhale, left elbow to right knee. And then inhale, extend out. Exhale, right elbow to left. So on your own, just like this, either having the legs out and meeting in that middle position or just tapping the toes, letting the shoulders slightly fall. But never letting the head fully rest back. Breathe. Do one more set, so right elbow to left and then left elbow to right, just to even it out. And then come to center. We'll hold, reach your arms forward. Flip the palms down, maybe lift the shoulders a little higher. Flex the toes. And then pulse your arms. Maybe with every pulse, your shoulders lift a little further up off the ground. Breathe. And then hug your knees into the chest. Grab onto the backs of your thighs. Go ahead and begin to rock up and down the length of your spine. Find enough momentum, as much as you need, to find your way to downward dog. You can cross one shin in front of the other, plant your hands, step back, jump back. Get there however you need to. Once you get there, feel free to pedal out your feet, come up and down on your toes. Make sure you look at the hands and make sure they did land, jetting straight out from your shoulders. Ideally, it's your index and middle finger that point straight forward. If you're sensitive in the wrists or super tight in your shoulders, turn your hands a little further out. And then just remember the feet rest hips distance apart. Whether the heels touch down doesn't matter, but the thigh bones are pushing back as the hip creases lift up. Front ribs knit in, so you're not swaying your chest to the mat. The chest is actually lifting more towards your hips. As you press down through your arms, allow the crown of your head to almost point to that space between your wrists. And then with an inhale, roll forward, high plank. Heels press back. Thighs firm up to the ceiling. Unless you need those knees for modification, go ahead and drop them. But keeping the hips level with your shoulder blades, add the slightest tuck to the tailbone, pull the belly tight. Press down into the hands evenly so your chest lifts, the back of your head lifts. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog, lift it up and back. Now inhale, come forward, high plank. Lean your shoulders forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Bend those elbows. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Just stay gentle, our first official back bend. And then exhale, roll over the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. From downward dog, we'll inhale to high plank. From high plank, press into the mat so your chest lifts. You create this horseshoe shape in the front of your body. The space between your shoulders gets very broad. Now keep the hips exactly where they're at. You're gonna lift the right foot up off the mat. Now pull the knee into your chest and think of curling your tailbone forward without lifting your hips, pulling the belly in, trying to get the shin as high and away from the ground as you can. But again, not by lifting the hips, drive that left inner thigh back. Use your core, press into the palms, lift the chest a little higher. Now curl the knee a little closer and step next to your right thumb. Come up to earth with the fingertips of your hands. Think Cobra Up Dog in your shoulders. Drive your left heel back, pull the belly to the spine. And then just reach your arms straight forward, palms face each other. We only got 30 minutes, so we're just gonna get right into it. Wrap those triceps down. Try to soften the trapezius, pull the belly tight. Now keep your torso where it's at, just pull your hands to heart center. And you're gonna slowly begin to twist your left elbow towards the outside of your right knee, but I don't want you to ever set it down. You're gonna suspend that twist. Notice if your left hip spins to the mat, lift it up by pushing through the left thigh towards the ceiling, driving through the left heel. Knit those front ribs in and begin to use the intercostal muscles to twist the left side ribs towards the inner right thigh. In case it's cheating. Now steering from your torso, begin to square it off. Reach your arms forward, straight back to where we came from. Drive the left heel back, lift the arms a little higher. Take an inhale. Exhale, hands to the mat. Pause, press into your palms. Push down so much into those palms that your chest lifts, belly tight. Don't lift those hips, curl the tailbone forward. Use your hamstring, pull your heel up to your butt. And then hover the foot straight back, flex the heel, lean your shoulders forward. Exhale, bend your elbows, Ekapada Chaturanga. Inhale, Cobra or Up Dog. The tops of both feet touch the ground. Exhale, Downward Dog. Whew. From downward dog, we inhale to high plank. From high plank, tighten up the belly. Pause. You're going to lift the left heel up and exhale, knee to the chest. So remember, push down into those hands so your chest literally horseshoes away from the ground. Think of tucking your tailbone forward, curling the knee forward by pulling the belly tighter. Press into those palms, don't let the chest sag. And then as you're ready, slide that foot next to your left thumb. Cobra Up Dog in your shoulders, high plank in that back leg. Keep it strong. Belly tight. Reach your arms forward, palms face each other. And to make things even more fun, you could always imagine you're holding an imaginary block in between your arms, and then imagine you're actually karate chopping your arms down into a tabletop, but resist that. Breathe. Now remember, nothing changes. You'll just pull your hands to heart center. Keep your back leg active. On an exhale, knit the ribs in and begin to twist that right elbow to the outside of your left thigh. Don't let the right hip swivel down to the mat. Energize the back leg. Knitting the front ribs in is going to lengthen the spine forward. Now think of twisting and revolving the right side ribs towards the inner left thigh to find your twist. Breathe in and out your nose. I like to use an exhale because it pulls your abdominal in naturally. Slowly turn back to center, reach your arms forward. Lift them a little higher, take it in. Exhale, hands down, pause. Press into your palms. Remember, lift the chest, but not your hips. Keep those hips low. And then without making the Nike swish sound, try to lift your heel to your butt. Hover the legs straight back. Lean your shoulders forward, heel presses back. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. And exhale, downward dog. And then with an inhale, bend your knees, draw your hips back, and look between your hands. Exhale, take a giant step, walk, or jump to the front of the mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold in. Now at the same flat back, inhale, circle your arms to the sky. Tadasana, mountain pose, maybe look up. Exhale, hands to heart center, Samasthiti. Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, circle the arms up, look up. Exhale, forward fold, lead with your heart, hinge at the hips. Inhale, glance out. Exhale, chaturanga, step or jump back. Inhale brings your back bend, and exhale, downward dog. From downward dog, we're going to inhale, bend the knees, look forward. Exhale, walk or jump to the front of the mat. Inhale, flat back, and exhale, fold in. Inhale, circle the arms to the sky, Tadasana. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach for the sun. Exhale, bow forward towards the earth. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, chaturanga in your own time. Inhale will bring your back bend. And exhale, downward dog. From downward dog, we're going to inhale that right leg to the sky. Bend the knee and open your hip. But don't allow your right shoulder to go with you. Wrap the outer right shoulder down. Take an inhale. As you exhale, pull the knee down and across to your left elbow. Find a little twist. Pause. Keep the hips where they're at. Take the knee to your right elbow. Back over to the left. Then inhale, stretch it to the sky and open your hip. Exhale, knee down and over to the left. Tap it to the right. Bring it back to your left arm and then stretch it to the sky and open your hip. Just one more. On your own, remember you take it to the left, to the right. You bring it back to your left before you lift it to the sky, opening your hip. Take an inhale, stretch a bit more. As you exhale, knee to chest, step in between the hands. Turning the back heel down. We'll lead with the left arm, warrior two, come on up. So your front heel can line up with the back heel or back arch. Back toes angle slightly forward. The tailbone draws down, belly pulls in, front knee stacks with your ankle. The arms are a nice straight line, expanding in opposite directions. We focus over the front hand. Flip your right palm to the sky. Inhale, reverse warrior. Left hand to left leg, right arm reaches up and then back. Right leg still works its way forward. The upward reach comes back, so keep that top arm straight. The backward reach is going to come, remember, when you jump your right hip away from the top of your thigh. Now, as you sit in reverse warrior, in your mind's eye, I want you to envision half moon. Take an inhale. As you exhale, it's like you're doing a cartwheel forward. Right hand goes 12 inches in front of your right foot as you lift your left arm and leg to the sky. Flex that back foot once it's lifted. As you lift that left hip and shoulder up, you're actually spinning your inner left thigh down towards your right leg. Hug the outer right hip back. Pull the lower belly tight. Breathe. Now I want you to begin to bend your left knee and pull it forward and up towards your left armpit. Think big dog, little fire hydrant. And hugging your right hip and bend your standing leg as deep as you can. And then very gently lift your hands, left foot next to right, chair pose, because what would any yoga class be without a nice chair pose? And then inhale, press the standing prayer in front of your heart. I want you to step your feet a bit wide, maybe to the edges of your mat. All 10 toes point straight forward. They could turn slightly out, but nothing dramatic. And then with an inhale, bend your knees, drop your hips, and reach to the sky. So as yogis, you're going to collapse into it, like Casey did, into Malasana. Lift your hips level with your knees. Tuck your tailbone in towards the space between your heels. Drive your knees out. Pull the belly tight. And hit those ribs in. Now sit just an inch lower, and then lift your hips an inch higher. And then sit an inch lower. Lift them higher, just pulsing up and down, firing up those glutes, drive those knees out, use those adductors, breathe. Now meet in the lowest part and pause, drive the knees out, take an inhale. Exhale, fold, torso in between the legs, lift the hips up to the sky. Inhale, flat back. As you exhale, chaturanga, and you can always skip that vinyasa if you need to. We'll meet you in downward facing dog. Take your time. Once you find downward dog, we'll inhale that left leg to the sky, bend the knee and open your hip. Left shoulder wraps down, keep the torso neutral, front body pulls in. Take an inhale. Exhale, pull the knee down and over to your right elbow. Take it to your left elbow. Bring it back to the right. And then inhale, stretch it up and back, open the hip. So we're only doing 3 sets, so you have 2 more. Exhale to the right, with control to the left, back to the right. And then inhale, stretch it up and back, open your hip. Last one is on you. Follow your breath. Use it even when you're up front. Don't hold your breath. We'll meet in that 3-legged dog, hip opening, find a stretch, take an inhale. Exhale, knee to chest, you'll step in between the hands, turn that back heel down. Inhale, warrior 2, come on up. Heel to heel or heel to arch, remember that is a matter of preference. Back toes turning slightly forward at 10 degrees at least. Whether you have a nice 90-degree angle in your front leg is not really the deal breaker. What I want is the front knee over the ankle and a deep enough bend that you're feeling challenged, but you're not going to have to straighten the leg in the next 60 seconds. Front ribs pull in, arms expand apart. Your shoulders as if they're leaning against the flat wall behind you. Focus over the front hand. We'll flip the left palm up, inhale, reach it up, reverse warrior gently. Backhand stays away from the knee. If you put weight in it, make sure it's on the hip or thigh. Lower belly pulls tight, top arm straight, lifting the left hip away from that left leg, working its way forward. So remember, it's not so much momentum, but it's about control. Take an inhale. As you exhale, half moon, left hand goes 12 inches in front of your front foot, right arm and leg lift up. Arms expand apart in a nice straight long line. From your right heel to the crown of the head, you're exerting energy, creating space. Inner right thigh wraps down. Lift the inner thigh towards the inner ankle for height. Hug that outer left hip back. Pull the belly in. So keeping the shape exactly as it is, you're just going to begin to bend your right knee. Pull it forward and up. Keep that thigh as parallel to the mat as you can. Now think of hugging your left hip back as you bend your standing knee, deeply pulling the belly tight. All sorts of awkward here. And then gently set your right foot down, reach your arms up, chair pose, sit a little lower. And then exhale, press the standing prayer in front of your heart. Inhale, straight back into chair, hips go low, arms reach high. Exhale, forward fold over the thighs as you lift the hips. Inhale, flat back. As you exhale, plant the hands, just step to high plank. From high plank, step your feet together. Kick your heels to the right, reach your left arm up to the sky. Vashi or side plank. So you could stagger your feet, top foot in front of the bottom. You could stack your feet to big toe and separate the heels a little bit. Firm the thighs, your glutes. Lift your hips up away from the ground as you contain those front ribs in. Press into the right palm and roll the right shoulder blade down the back. If you're feeling secure, maybe the top arm goes up and overhead, palm facing the mat. If you're still feeling pretty in this, pull the belly in, maybe float your left foot up. Tilt that top hip forward. Take an inhale, slowly exhale, left hand down. Heel swivel to the left, right arm up to the sky. So remember, right foot could stagger in front of your left. You could even drop that left knee to the ground. But if your feet stack big toe to big toe, lift the right heel just slightly. Lift the bottom hip up. Tilt the top hip forward. Both shoulders draw down the back, and even here try and protract them. There it is. And then take your top arm up and overhead. If you did it on the other side, try it on this side. If you're feeling stable, belly in, you might try floating your top foot up, karate kicking it through the wall behind you. Breathe in whatever variation you're in. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, right hand to the mat. Pause. Maybe you drop to the knees. Lean forward. Exhale, halfway down, elbows hug back and pause. And then inhale, push up. Do we have two more in you? Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, high plank. Last one, exhale, halfway down. Inhale, straight back up, and exhale, lift the hips. Soften your face. Deepen the breath. And then go ahead and slowly drop down to your knees. Cross one ankle over the other, sit back behind your feet, or sit hips to one side, bring your legs out in front of you. Once your legs are straight out in front of you, find your sit bones, grab the cushion, pull it back. Do the same thing to both sides. Now you're going to bring the sole of your right foot to the inner left thigh and just let your knee flop open. So think of this as like a seated tree pose, right? How close that foot gets to your groin just depends on your flexibility. But if your right knee doesn't actually touch the ground, use a block, a book, a towel, something underneath it. Now take your left hand and just cup the earth behind your left hip. You're going to inhale, reach your right arm up. Now begin to turn your chest towards your left toes and even further, towards the side of the room. And then as you exhale, you're going to go out. Reach as long as you can, and then try and hook your elbow to the outside of that left leg. And then I like to use that left hand kind of as a prop to help lift the left shoulder up. That right hand, eventually, you can actually turn the thumb down and grab the outer edge of your foot, eventually. Some people can even take that top arm up and overhead and grab the inner edge of the foot, but that's like for those of you who are Gumby incarnate. That left hand can really do whatever you want. Casey's wrapping it onto her lower back, reaching for that right hip to help lift the anterior deltoid up towards the ceiling. But make sure you flex that right foot or left foot. Think of anchoring your right knee down and back. Pull the belly in. And then wherever you're at, releasing the left hand. Inhale, come up. Slide the right leg out next to left. Bring the left knee into the chest, foot into the inner thighs that flops out. Right hand will cup the outer edge of your right foot. Inhale, reach your left arm up. Remember, grow tall. Try and twist your chest as far to the right as you can get it. And then slowly exhale, go out. You're still folding out, but you're also going to try and hook your left elbow to the outside of that thigh. Right hand as you need it, along with that left hand, whether it just kind of sits there. If you can't reach the outer edge of your leg, that elbow can be inside it. But you are trying to get the left side ribs to twist as much to your right leg as you can. Breathe. And slowly inhale, unwrap the right arm, lift your chest, release that folded twist, slide your left leg out. Bend the knees, reach your arms forward and just gently roll all the way down onto your back. Let your legs go long, allow your arms to fall away from the sides of your body. Savasana. Almost seems like a blink of an eye ago you were just here starting out. But now you're finishing it off. Stepping aside, giving yourself permission to let go. So let go of a nice long exhale. Release your breath. Let your body get heavy, your mind clears. So we live in a day and age where instant gratification is kind of where we operate from. Right? The day and age of Amazon Prime, if you will. We expect things instantaneously. And so I can't even begin to count the number of people that have taken a class and they've heard about meditation, whether it's through yoga, their therapists, psychologists, life coaches. And they come up and they say, oh yeah, well I tried to meditate. I did it for 30 seconds. Once a day for about a week, and I didn't notice a difference. The hard truth is that it's going to take a little bit longer, a little bit more of a commitment. And really, you won't even begin to notice the deep spiritual effects until about a year after. Sure, if you can get to the point where you're meditating 5-10 minutes a day for 6 months, you will notice the effects it has within the material body, the effects that it has on the mind. But to really begin to tap into the soul, it's going to take a little more, because the soul is kind of buried beneath layers and layers of what is called illusion or Maya. And Maya, or the illusory energy, is going to do as much as it can to try and continually pull you away from waking up or finding the truth, rediscovering who you are on a deep spiritual level, what your purpose is, what your relationship with God is, how to build upon that relationship. And so I implore you to try to push past that barrier of wanting to feel something right away. Give yourself time. Build upon your practice. Just like touching your toes doesn't come instantaneously. Sometimes it takes people years to get to that point. So finding this deep connection within yourself with God is going to take a little bit more time. Not 30 seconds. So for now, we'll begin to wiggle the toes, the fingers. You can roll out your ankles, your wrists. Again, stretch your arms up and overhead, point through the toes. You can roll to your right or left hand side, whatever side is calling you, finding a gentle fetal position to transition out of here. And as you're ready, walking up to a comfortable seat. You can rest your hands on your knees, in your lap, or bring them to heart center. But wherever you go, sit up tall, find your breath. So although we are these creatures who want instant gratification, most of us can agree that anything worthwhile takes time, patience, commitment. And so when it comes to a steady spiritual practice, it's going to require that. You have to be in it for the long haul. So just something to think about, something to take with you and work with beyond the rubber mat. On that note, namaste.